Chinese companies have already successfully decentralized. Others will no doubt do so and do so in distinctive ways. The command and control instincts of a Communist Party-controlled economy will at some point meet the requirements of innovation in a VUCA world. How this tension is navigated will impact Chinese firms, the Chinese economy, and China itself. Steiber addresses such an interesting and important set of issues that scholars and practitioners in China and elsewhere need to be aware of the many quiet changes taking place in China as Chinese companies transform from growth through imitation to growth through innovation. An excellent place to obtain important insights into the innovation that is beginning to take place in China is this salutary monograph. Berkeley, California, USA, July 2017. David J. Teese, Director, Tusher Center for the Management of Intellectual Capital, Professor of Business Administration, Thomas W. Tusher Chair in Global Business, Haas School of Business, University of California, Berkeley. Preface. We, that is, the author, with help from her research team, have written this book to help address three needs. The urgent need for a fundamentally new approach to managing firms, the need to understand and compare management models used by leading innovation giants in Silicon Valley and in China, and the need to understand if the Chinese pace-setters may even have surpassed the Silicon Valley-based firms in regard to new management models for innovation and speed. The business environment has changed dramatically. As more than one observer puts it, change itself has changed. Markets and technologies in virtually every industry are now subject to frequent and unpredictable change, putting a premium on qualities like innovation, adaptability, and rapid response. Yet the great majority of companies still are built around rigid command and control cultures and bureaucratic structures of the kind that evolved during the last century. The future, however, will favor companies that can migrate to a new management model better suited for this time, the Internet age. We first observed key elements of this new approach in use at Google. Our findings were published in an award-winning journal article and in Dr. Annika Steiber's 2014 book, The Google Model: Managing Continuous Innovation in a Rapidly Changing World. Then, starting early in 2014, we expanded our studies. The goal was to ascertain whether we were, in fact, onto something that might be widely applicable. So we combed through the writings by a multitude of eminent business scholars, consultants, journalists, and executives worldwide, searching for evidence on what works best for managing amid rapid change. We also widened our own inquiries to look at companies which, like Google, had grown and flourished well beyond the startup stage in Silicon Valley. These companies were Tesla, Apogee, and the social networking leaders Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. We found a remarkable convergence. The companies turned out to be using management principles and practices that not only were similar to each other's and to Google's, but were also congruent with the best new management practices identified in our global review of the research literature. We labeled these practices the Silicon Valley model because at the time, the Valley is where they appeared to be most highly developed and most thoroughly applied. The results of the further study, including a detailed description of the model, were published in The Silicon Valley Model: Management for Entrepreneurship, 2016, by Dr. Steiber and Sverker Alang. Then, shortly afterward, the author of this book was invited by Haier, the global home appliance firm, to visit its headquarters in China. People at Haier wanted to discuss their own management model, which in their view was even more advanced than the Silicon Valley model. That visit became the trigger for this.